Chapter 20. Come Back to Me. It happened fast, in a blink of an eye. Chomper saw Ruby fighting, trying to get to him. The last thing he saw was her. Heard her refer to him as her love. Her love. It was both the happiest and scariest moment of his life, for he couldn't return those 3 words. Once he wished he spoke sooner to her. Now, Ruby, the island, everything faded from him. He was in a free fall for a brief moment before his body hit the cool water, bubbles floating around him, the surface getting farther and farther. Wiggling, he couldn't kick his leg, flap his arms, thick vines limiting his every move. If he didn't get free, he'd run out of air, drown for sure. With how much he struggled, his lungs could no longer hold out, taking on water. Above the surface and on the ledge, Ruby held Hip down, punching him across the face. Over and over she hit him, taking her anger out on him. It was a side of Ruby none ever saw, the gang and Valley members standing and staring with shock and awe. While she struck him, Ruby couldn't help but see flashes, a brief life she and Chomper would have had if not for Hip. "You took everything I love away!" "Nice one, Ruby. You show him who's boss," Sarah called from the sideline. "We have to help Chomper," Littlefoot spoke, getting himself together and being the voice of reason. "How do you suggest we do that?" Tippy asked, looking to himself and Spike. "Spike and I weren't meant for swimming." "I got this." Ruby left a bleeding Hip and went, running to the edge, leaping and flying through the air. "I'm coming, Chomper! Don't give up!" Down she went, throwing her arms together to slip through the water quickly. Ruby's body dove in, and Ducky went to the ledge next, knowing she was better at swimming than Ruby or Chomper. "I will help Ruby! I will! Right behind Ruby, Ducky jumped in and sank below the surface, arms moving to maneuver herself in the weightless environment. Petrie, who was close by, got a good face full of water, spitting and shaking his head to remove the droplets. Under the water, Ruby swam deeper and deeper, knowing Chomper sank fast due to his large body. When she saw him, he wasn't moving, rushing to try and untie him. Yanking the vines, she managed to get a few off his muzzle, but not his body. She couldn't hold her breath for too long, becoming frantic till someone joined her. It was Ducky, who came in like a shot, speedily going from his legs to his body, cutting the vines with ease. The long strands floated around them, Chomper free but still not moving. Once he was untangled, Ducky and Ruby got on either side, swimming for all they were worth, pulling him upward. Over the big water, Petrie kept everyone updated, scanning the water. "Petrie no see them!" "Come on, Ducky, Ruby, save him!" Littlefoot spoke with worry, hearing Hip and the others celebrate the death of their friend. "Ha! He's gone! Good as dead!" Hip felt a foot to the head, Sarah clamping his mouth shut. "Why don't you do us a favor and shut up?" "Oh, see them! They go to beach!" "Then that's where we should go. Hurry!" Turning, Littlefoot brushed by the crowd, wanting to help Ruby and Ducky once they reached the beach. Before joining the gang, Sarah slapped Mutton Nod with a sweep of her tail. "That's for Chomper. No one gets to pick on him but me. Got it?" "Right," the pair agreed, Mutt rubbing his face while Nod stood frozen. With a humph, Sarah left the group to catch up with Littlefoot. It didn't take them long to reach the beach, all panting till they got there. The friends went as fast as they could, coming upon a bleak scene. All 3 were soaking wet, Ducky seeing Ruby try to wake Chomper, who remained unconscious, or was he dead? Petrie lit by Ducky, wringing his hands. Littlefoot gasped, and his eyes welled with tears. Sarah was even taken back, clenching her jaw and trying not to cry. Spike let out a sad sound, Tippy comforting him. There, love. I'm here." They gathered around Chomper. Ruby was by his side, taking one of his hands to clasp tightly in her own. Chomper, can you hear me? Wake up!" Ruby said, voice still hopeful. "Come on, quit fooling around. You're safe. safe is where you are, and will always be. Please answer me. Come back to me.
Ruby, Sarah started, hating to be the realistic one, yet speaking for no one else wanted to. In fact, it was hard to even say herself. Well, he was under there for a while longer than most could take. He might be.
No, he's fine. He just needs space.
It was heartbreaking, Ruby in denial, unable to accept he was gone.
Chomper, speak to me. Talk to me.
There was no sound. His eyes shut and his chest didn't move, not even when she touched it. It was then it hit her, sank in fully. Shaking her head, she threw her hands to her face.
No, this can't be.
We're sorry, Ruby. Truly, Littlefoot said, brushing her with his muzzle. Come on, Ruby. We need to head back to the valley. With such a large gathering of plant-eaters, it might draw the attention of several Sharptooth.
Leave me then. I can't go without him. I promised I'd take care of him, vowed to keep him safe, and safe he shall be. With my dying breath, I won't stray from his side.
Come on, Ruby. Wouldn't you stay by Littlefoot? This shut Sarah up, swallowing and looking to her own mate. Okay, but we'll stay with you. I don't think you should be left alone to deal with this.
Poor Chomper, why Hip do such a mean thing?
Because Hip is a jerk with no love in his heart, no compassion, no, Ducky added, patting Petrie's back. Ruby threw herself upon Chomper, weeping plunky tears. Her voice trembled, speaking softly to him.
You can't leave me, Chomper. Please, come back to me. Return to me. Life is lonely, dark without your bright smile, your laughter, your voice, everything.
The final words she said were soft, a mere whisper.
I love you.
The gang lowered their heads, paying respects to their fallen friend. Since they knew Chomper when he was only a few days old, they saw images of the time long ago, when he hatched, when he saved them from the egg stealers, how he displayed bravery, courage in the face of danger, even hid them from his own parents. The many adventures they went on, the laughter they shared, all of it was precious, would stay with them forever. While the gang stood, the valley members were quiet, seeing how heartbroken Ruby was, unable to believe she truly cared for him. Then the question arose, did he care for her back? If he did, then perhaps he was more than the brainless killer made him out to be. Regret washed over a few who lowered their heads, hearing Ruby cry mournfully for him. Face to Chomper's heart, Ruby trembled and wished for death, for nothing seemed worth living without him. Suddenly and quietly a voice uttered, I love you too, Ruby. It was so soft, only Ruby was able to hear it. Blinking away her tears, Ruby sat up and saw Chomper open his eyes, breathing outward and inhaling again, showing signs of life.
Chomper?
He gave her a toothy grin, which lit her up. Didn't think a little water could hurt me, did you, Ruby? Throwing her arms around his neck, she kissed him several times on the muzzle. On the sideline, Sarah stuck her tongue out. Gross. Can't you two wait to do this later, preferably while I'm not here to watch?
I think sweet. About time you two confess feelings.
Yep. Good for you two. They went over and nuzzled Chomper, who slowly got to his feet. While the gang celebrated, Hip ambled out, the valley members watching and seeing what he'd do next. What are you waiting for? Kill him! None moved, Hip huffing with anger. Why aren't you going after him? Let's just go home, Hip, Mutt said, standing back. Fine, I don't need you. Either you or Nod. The pair of you are idiots. Useless. I'll handle this monster myself since you're all too scared to. Going forward, Hip stopped and gazed up at the towering Chomper. You don't scare me. Good. I wasn't trying to frighten you, Hip. Never. Aren't you going to kill me? Get revenge for what I did to you?
I tried to have you killed, was going to take Ruby from you. Don't you have a fierce bone in your body? Why, I don't care about the members of the valley so long as you were dead." This made the members mutter and whisper, turning to leave. Seeing his backup was gone, Hip shouted, "Wait! I didn't mean it! Get back here! We still have to end him!" "Give it a rest, Hip. It's over," Littlefoot said, shaking his head. "No, I want blood!" Hip went forward and intended to strike Ruby. "If I can't have her, neither will you!" She shuddered and went to take a step back, Hip's hand inches from her. Before Hip could even touch her, Chomper's great tail swung toward him. Unable to get out of the way, it swept Hip aside with ease, throwing him through the air. The blow sent him against a tree, where his body was distorted and fell in a heap, still and not moving again. Chomper huffed, hating to attack, but wasn't about to see anyone harm Ruby. The members of the valley froze and saw him look to them, taking a cool breath. "I'm asking you kindly to get the cuss off my island and head back to the Great Valley. Since I'm the leader of the Sharptooth, I'll tell them to leave you all be. Even after you tried to kill me, I'll show mercy to all of you." Thank you," Mutt said, swallowing a few times. "Yeah, let's go, everyone," Nut added, going into the forest. The gang hung back, seeing the many leave, doing what was told of them. With a satisfied snort, Sarah cracked her neck. "So, with the fools out of the way, what say we head home?" "Yeah, but what about Ruby and Chomper? He's still not allowed in Valley, right?" "I'll be fine out here, Petrie. Don't worry," Chomper assured. "Well, Ruby can return with us. She can. "Exactly. So, ready to go, Ruby?" Littlefoot asked, thinking she'd joined them, only for her to pause in mid-step. "Ruby, what's wrong? Chomper is safe now. We can go, while the land path is visible." "Actually," she took Chomper's hand, "I think I'm going to stay. Where I belong is by his side. His side is where I shall stay." "Well, we wish you the best of luck." Chomper and Ruby gazed into each other's eyes, nuzzling noses and licking one another gently. After everything they'd been through, from their journey to the valley, the adventures of their youth, no matter the obstacle that got in their way, their differences in species, nothing could ever keep them apart, stop them from loving one another. They were filled with joy, unable to express themselves with mere words, preparing to sing. Hand in hand they stood close and didn't care what anyone thought, proud to be together again, vowing never to part from one another. "Sing, let your heart soar, sing forever, sad and so happy, feelings flow over. Now our world is full of all kinds of colors. Closing up my eyes, I still can see the stars shine in the sky. Sing their harmony, flowers they're blooming. Oh, it's beautiful. Sing, 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 sing the song, I won't stop now. Sing it through, I love you. The voice carries on." They spun, focused only on one another. When they stopped, they went and hugged their friends, saying their goodbyes. It'd be a while before they met up, for the gang intended to stay in the valley. From the ledge, Ruby and Chomper saw the gang leave, waving to them and standing proudly by one another. It was hard to see their friends go, yet they belonged in the valley, while the couple dwelled on the lush island. "Bye," they called, heaving their friends' say farewell back. On the far beach, the large group headed to the Great Valley, the land path disappearing as the big water level rose over the rocky path. Alone, Ruby faced Chomper. "Alone at last." "Yup, just
You and I.
There's something I've been wanting to try for a while.
What's that?
Lean over and I'll show you.
Bravely, she stood on her tiptoes and made the first move, leaning up to kiss Chomper, who bent down to return the tender gesture. Inch by inch, the space closed. Muzzle and beak met and lingered while the waves crashed against the land. It was an image out of a romantic movie, the pairs smooching while the water flew up and around them. The waves settled and Ruby drew back. Seeing Chomper was beet red with pursed lips. Burring her beak to his muzzle, he smiled. I love you, Ruby, Chomper spoke, flushing slightly.
I love you too, but why are you blushing?
Because I never thought we'd be together.
You and me both.
Ruby leaned against him, listening to the sound of his heartbeat, sighing with content, for no matter what, nothing would keep them apart.
You know, our story would make a good tale for a story speaker.
It would, wouldn't it? Chomper agreed, chuckling slightly. But what would it be called?
The Friendly Sharptooth and the Fast Runner Who Loved Him,
Ruby answered. Indeed, they'd see Littlefoot and the gang again, but for now, the pair were content in being alone. On the mysterious island, they spent their day, talking, singing, sharing the lush and secluded place, thinking none would bother them again. However, along the beach, Screech and Thud stood, waiting for the land path to appear. Thud held a serious expression, Screech clearing his throat to speak. So, how do you think he'll respond to the threat? Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Screech gave a snort. He's not like Redclaw, not rough and mean. True, but he has something worth protecting, worth living for. You mean that fast runner chick? Yes, she's the thing that will turn him into a true killer. Rolling his eyes, Screech shook his head. I don't know, Thud. I think you're putting too much faith in this Chomper fella. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. He'll be able to handle the storm that's coming. Thud simply watched the island, seeing the bright circle shine over the lush land.